It looks like I just rolled out of bed because it's true. That was corny as fuck. Why the fuck did I do that? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna take these because you can see the ring light in the reflection of it. You know what I'm saying? So like it fucks the whole shit up. Hey everybody, it's Mo. I hate media, and I'm here to talk about the new Pokemon because the box legendaries just dropped a couple of days ago, and I don't like them. I don't like them. So we have these new legendaries, the like the jet ski one and like the motorcycle one, and I don't get it, right? I don't get it, and I made a whole video about how I don't really understand what we're doing with Pokemon's designs as a whole because we just seem to be going further and further and further away from like what I thought to be Pokemon's core design ethics. And as design sensibilities change, I know things start to shift, but I think franchises whose main goal is, hey, our creatures look like this, Pokemon are starting to look like a lot of the other things that are out already because everybody's sort of moving towards the same thing over time because everybody's taking cues from each other. Like the difference between how Pokemon look and how Digimon look is like it's getting the gap is shrinking. And when I was writing the script for this video, and by writing the script for this video, I mean talking to my best friend Marcus about it on the phone, something that I had really like come to the conclusion to in the middle of the conversation was I don't really know if we should be making legendaries anymore. I'll explain. Bear with me. I'll explain. So, Pokemon Gen 1, right? Red, blue, yellow. We have a story. You know, we're trying to get 8 gym badges. We're fighting Team Rocket. But we don't really know anything about Moltres, Zapdos, Articuno, or Mewtwo other than like journals and like NPCs that talk about them or like maybe mention them loosely. But like there aren't really plot points that hinge on these legendary Pokemons. And I think to that degree, those Pokemon are legendary in the truest sense. But like and then we have Generation 2. Generation 2 is the first time that we ever had box legendaries. We had never had box legendaries before. So we have Ho-Oh on gold, and we have Lugia on silver, and we have Suicune on crystal. And a lot of the lore and mythology in the region like sort of talks about these Pokemon, but they're still not plot specific. Like the plot happens, like Team Rocket take over the radio tower with or without Ho-Oh, right? That doesn't hinge on it. With or without Lugia, with or without the 3 legendary beasts. I'm not calling them dogs. Raikou looks like a fucking tiger. I'm not calling the tiger a dog. I'm not calling a saber-tooth tiger a dog. Shut the fuck up. I don't care if it said bark in the English translation when you hit A on them and then they all run around. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You don't get that from me. But more to my point, the legendary Pokemon are there, right? They're of legend, right? There's mythology centered around them. But the plots don't hinge on these Pokemon. That changed in Generation 3. Generation 3, Kyogre, Groudon, Rayquaza, Sapphire, Ruby, Emerald. I'm about to burp, yawn, and I'm not gonna stop talking when I should. But Team Magma, Team Aqua, their whole thing is grabbing Groudon and Kyogre and like massively fucking up the world with these two Pokemon, with these cataclysmic Pokemon. And if you're playing Emerald, Rayquaza is gonna come down, break that shit up, and then you gotta find all 3. But the plot can't happen without those 3 Pokemon. The plot does not happen without those legendaries. This is the first generation where the plot can't occur without legendaries. So legendaries, outside of being very strong, very cool Pokemon, become plot relevant more so than like anything else going on. Like Generation One, you have Charizard on the box of red. You have Blastoise on the box of blue. You have Pikachu on yellow. If you're from Japan, you got Pokemon green and red instead of red and blue came later. So you have Venusaur on green. But you have your starters, right? The game was about you going on an adventure with your first Pokemon. That's what that visual language, that's what that ad, that's what that communicates to me. And then you have Generation 2. There are legends, right? There's like allusions to Shintoism and Buddhism and phoenixes and like tidal creatures and like creation myths and shit like that. Like it's, or not full on creation myths, but like, Ho-Oh creating Entei, Raikou, Suicune. I'm not gonna say Raikou, it's Raikou like it is Raichu. Thunder, shut up. I don't know why Pokemon fans are so weird about pronunciation and then don't even try to learn the root language of the words that the Pokemon are named after. I don't know why y'all do that. I don't know why we do that. But even though the legendaries are like present, they're still not at the forefront of the plot. The plot is still about you going on a journey with your Pokemon. And I don't think there's a Pokemon game that isn't about you going on a journey with your Pokemon, but the Pokemon games are more so about catching these legendaries than I think they've ever been. And I think that that is a mistake. I think in regards to story, there are only so many ways you can do the team needs the legendary, or we have to get the legendary to stop the team. Like, I think one of the only ways that this happened that I liked it was maybe Generation 5 with Black and Black 2 and White 2. I think those things are... And I don't even like those legendaries that much. I don't like the way that they're designed. Like, I don't like Kyurem White or Kyurem Black. I don't like that Kyurem got, like, grafted onto their mythology like that when initially everybody thought Kyurem was from space. I thought that was way more interesting than Kyurem being like the empty shell of like this dragon when the other two split off. I was more into Kyurem just being like a freezing space monster that eats people at night, which is why Lacunosa Town has walls. I don't even know why they built Lacunosa Town over there if you have a dragon that's eating people. Why the fuck would you stop doing that shit? That's like Cinnabar Island being built around an active like move. Fucking move. Make a new island. Have a bunch of Pokemon that know eruption and like have them erupt, and then that magma like hits the water, and then you just have like rock for a new island. Like that's how that island that you live on got formed anyway. Just make your own, but the volcano goes in your computer when you're done. Like why the fuck would you live on an actual I understand how that happens in the real world. I don't understand how that happens in a Pokemon world where I can convert a Pikachu into data and then put it on a flash drive. I can instant travel on the back of a bird to any place that I've been. You know what I'm saying? Like I could put a move on a CD, run the CD through a Walkman, and then my Pokemon knows the move. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't make any fucking like Pokemon are downloading moves like MP3s now with the TMs. Like I don't get it. I don't get why you would live in a volcano. I don't get why you would. I don't get how you didn't fight the volcano. Avatar Roku can fight a volcano, but like none of you Pokemon people can. Generation 2, Cinnabar Island's gone because none of you niggas had a Blastoise. Nobody knew Rain Dance, Surf, nothing. You got to use Surf to get there. Nobody had Surf. Nobody just used Surf in the volcano multiple times until that shit cooled off. That was a long fucking tangent, and I'm so sorry. The point that I'm making very poorly is that there aren't a lot of good ways that we've done legendary Pokemon in the past. And in a world as like large but also small as Pokemon, it begins to make less and less sense that we have this many legendaries to begin with. And I'm going to explain why. So when we think about like legends and myths in the literal sense, it is generally like groups of people that are like creating ideas and like even places and forms of worship or schools of thought around phenomena, forces of nature, animals, etc., and different groups of people, different tribes, different sects, different countries, different cultures develop different ideas on how they came to be, how their world came to be, what the world even looked like before we were able to globalize as multiple societies that like knew where other continents were, right? Those ideas were very distinct and compact. But as we've moved and as like people have colonized other people, moved other places, intermingled, enslaved, etc., a lot of our world ideas on how things work have become more and more similar. Still distinctive. We still have cultures. We still have beliefs. We still have holy wars over some shit because we don't know. But the point is that all of our mythologies and legends are valid because none of us can quantifiably prove or disprove anybody's shit because none of us even know if it's real. The issue with Pokemon is that all of that shit is real. Like, all of that shit is actually real. Dialga, Time God, real. Pokemon that created all of space, Palkia, real. Pokemon that created all the other Pokemon, Arceus, real. Manaphy, real. Fione, real. Mew, real. Moltres, real. Pokemon that made the continents, fucking Groudon, real. Pokemon that made the oceans, Kyogre, real. Pokemon that told the continents into place, Regigigas, real. The golems that Regigigas made out of the primordial shit on the ground, the magma, the rock and the ice, real. All that shit's real. When you have a game world where you created a pantheon of gods and you have one god that is the god, and that god is quantifiable and exists, and then all of the other gods of the pantheon are that god's kids, grandkids, descendants, etc., to the point where all Pokemon are descended from this one god, and then you have other universes and other dimensions that exist within it. But like every multiverse has like its own Pokemon, but like all of them still like bow to Arceus. Arceus is like the god of gods, like the Odin, like the Zeus, like, you know what I'm saying, King of Kings type shit. Capital G. It becomes very different to create a world with different cultures, with different ideologies about what God is, especially when we caught God, like God's in somebody's PC. Like, the one true religion is confirmable, like quantifiable. You could get that nigga belly rubs, you know what I'm saying? Like, the god of death, fucking Yveltal, is real. Like, the grim, like, Darkrai is real. So it's difficult to create a world similar to ours where like different mythologies and legends exist when all of the legends are valid, especially when we have so much crossover, right? Yo, before we get to the part about crossover, I just thought about this as I was editing, so this is going to be really funky, my bad. But like, imagine what the fuck would happen to world religions if somebody were able to prove that the god they worship is real, and thus any other religion may potentially be invalid because the only one that we can prove exists is real. Like let's say Christianity pulls some shit like that. And motherfuckers is like, nah, our God, Christian God, is real. Jesus is on a floppy disk in my living room. Like, that would fuck our shit up. Okay, back to the part about like crossover and stuff. Love you, bye. Like, we've saturated the market with legendary Pokemon. Like, if Moltres lives in volcanoes and is like fiery, but like Primal Groudon is fiery and like made the continents and also lives in magma chambers, but like Heatran also lives in like a volcano or certain volcanoes, depending on like what continent you're on, what region you're in the Pokemon games. Like, they're all fire god, they're all magma lord, they're all volcano man. Like, I don't. You see what I'm getting at? Like, we don't need all of those. We don't need them. We don't need that many magma thingies. We don't need that many fire gods. We don't. Especially, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many gods of fire are we gonna have in one pantheon? We got Entei. Entei's another volcano. How many fucking. You know, how many of those do we need in a single pantheon? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're making a Greek pantheon, but like there's 5 guys that's the same dude. They got the same job. Like, I don't get it. Especially if like some of the legendaries are like global and some of the other legendaries are continental. Like, why does this one continent need a specific volcano god, but then the whole planet also has Groudon? But then like Generation Two's volcano god Entei is also a roaming legendary that runs around in Kanto in Pokemon Fire Red, and then like Generation 4 and Generation 2 apparently happen at the same time on the Pokemon timeline. You can Google that, leave me alone. That's just true. You can Google that. One of the creators like put a timeline up of when all the games were made. Put that shit on his Twitter. It's canon. Like, it's in official media. Leave me alone. I didn't do that. They did that. It's not me. It's not me. I didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of rollover with these legendary Pokemon. There's a lot of rollover of tasks, of jobs, of like what these Pokemon are supposed to be doing, what they're supposed to mean, their relevance within the world they live in and with the regions that they live in. It's just all really fucking messy. And we have Pokemon games already. Some of the best critically rated and user rated games in the franchise that aren't about the legendaries, right? Like the Gen 2 remakes are some of the best selling Pokemon games. Original Gen 2, that was Pokemon's magnum opus for a long time. Even after Generation 3 came out, people thought it couldn't get better than Gold, Silver, and Crystal, right? People swore it couldn't get better than that. Gen 1, I got nostalgia. I'm a own. I got, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know what I'm about. I'll own that. I'm not a full-on Gen 1er because Gen 4 is actually my favorite generation, but like, I'd be cap if I didn't say I got mad love for Gen 1. I'd be lying. But like, Gen 1 did not have a strong story, but like internal consistency was there because it was very early in Pokemon. So there was a lot of free running with what Pokemon could or couldn't be or could or couldn't do world-wise. But even within that newness, it was still very tight, very consistent because the legendaries just weren't involved. I found Moltres by fucking accident on Victory Road. I didn't know what the fuck that was. I was looking for the blocks to push around so that I can get the fuck out of there because Victory Road scared the shit out of me. Point being, we have games in the franchise that work very well that don't hinge on the existence of legendaries. So we either need to stop making new legendaries, in my opinion. Because how much more shit can you make the god of when everything's like, where do they all fit? Like, it's not making sense anymore. And the world-wise, it's not making sense because, like, we don't have the major differences in culture and language in the Pokemon world that we do in the real world, even though some of these things are supposed to be parallel. That doesn't hold up when everybody speaks the same language, everybody reads the same language, everybody buys Pokeballs, everybody starts with 3 starters, everybody has a league or some sort of competition or something to work towards. Like, I don't even know how Alola happened, because what is the Alolan language if everybody speaks the same? You know what I'm saying? Like, what superpower took over the world, that Ash could travel everywhere and speak the same language as everybody else, even though Alola has words. What happened there? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's questions, there's holes. So we either need to stop making legendaries, or we need to go back to how legendaries used to be in the first 2 generations, where the plot would fucking happen regardless of if they were in there. Because the game was about you and your Pokemon, whether that Pokemon was legendary or not, because you caught it. More story and character focused world building would do Game Freak a lot more good for people who care about that sort of stuff. I don't play Pokemon for the metagame. I play Pokemon because I think Pokemon are cool. And if design wise, like I said in one of my earlier videos, they don't look as cool and they look too busy, and if story wise we're not gripping people like they used to because the world is sort of falling apart under the weight of its own shit, we're gonna lose a lot of fans. But outside of like my own personal relationship with it, there are just things about the world building that, like, if the franchise wants to continue to have a future, it should probably begin to address differently, because the old model of making plots hinge on legendaries is beginning to not make sense anymore, and arguably wasn't particularly handled well in most of its iterations. The stakes are too fucking high. Everything's a world-ending global phenomena. Everything's about to be a mess, right? All of it's getting messy. And since Pokemon is a franchise that introduces battle gimmicks and then sort of relieves themselves of those gimmicks the following game if they didn't hit or if they don't want to do it anymore, I'm not sure what they're going to do. Like, if we don't have Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing in the next game, I don't know what the fuck we're going to do with Eternatus or Zacian and Zamazenta, because that was kind of the fucking point of those 3. That was the point. Like, if we don't have that anymore, that was the point. Like, Rayquaza's god of the sky and protects the ozone. We gon' have a sky, and Pokemon gon' have, like, air and shit. Like, there's gonna be molecules in that bitch. I done turned my ring light off. There we go. But yeah, we gon' have air, nigga. Like, we gon' have the ocean. We gon' have Kyogre. We gon' have continents. We gon' have magma. We gon' have Groudon. We gon' have time. We gon' have Dialga. Dialga and Celebi. There's another overlap. Why would... I know one of them created time and the other one travels it, but why? Why? And I know Celebi's a mythical, not a legendary, but like, what the fuck does that even mean? Shut up. What does that even mean? Oh, we got this one at an event. This one's in the game. They're all in the game because they're all in the code. Grow up. All of this to say, I think Pokemon either needs to stop making legendaries or they need to handle them differently. They have to. Because it's falling apart. In my opinion, it's falling apart. They ain't got to do nothing that they don't want to do. They grown, and that's their money, and that's their franchise. I'm gonna play that shit till I get tired regardless. I'm just owning that I'm getting tired right now. But yeah, I just don't think it was handled well. Also, another point, I forgot to bring this up earlier. How are regular Pokemon not legendary enough? How are regular everyday Pokemon not legendary enough? You got Skarmory flying around at Mach 2 in the Pokedex. You got Gardevoir creating black holes to protect its trainer. Like creating fucking singularities out of sheer willpower and psychic rage to protect its trainer, its partner, like in battle. You know what I'm saying? You got shit like that. You got Macargo, another volcano, another magma thing, whose body is hotter than the surface of the sun. You have Magikarp turning into Gyarados, which is based on the myth of like the koi fish carp that like jumps up the waterfall, gets to the dragon gate, and gets to turn into a dragon. Like, yeah, shit like that. You got mythologies. Like, we have mythologies around regular Pokemon already. Like, Arcanine is the legendary Pokemon in the Pokedex. So what is the difference between the legendary Pokemon and legendary Pokemon other than stats? And like, stats are numbers. Make more number. Give it more numbers. buff the Pokemon. Or like nerf other Pokemon. I don't give a fuck. Do balance the game, but like we don't need that. Especially if like most of these legendaries are getting banned in the battle tower and in Ubers and shit. Like a Smogon's banning everything. Like it doesn't fucking matter if you fuck with the numbers or not, or nerf other, because we're gonna be fine. We're gonna figure it out. We are gonna fucking figure it out. We're gonna figure out how to battle each other. We're gonna figure out how to battle each other effectively. Also, I'm tired of legendaries like eating up the meta scene. Like everybody has the same like 8 to 10 Pokemon in rotation every time a meta happens because it's effective, and it's just not fun. Like I want to battle somebody and they want to throw down with a Bellsprout because they can. That's not happening anymore. Like everybody's so meta focused, and like I think the proliferation of legendaries like has created a foundation for that. Like, but also it's the fan base, because fans will optimize the fun out of a game. If people can break a game to play it more efficiently because they don't enjoy the game for enjoying the game, they enjoy the game for winning, and this is the game that they choose to win at, like the game's not going to be fun for everybody anymore. And I think like addressing the legendary issue might address some of that. We either need different plots, we need to handle legendaries differently, we need to handle the metagame differently, or we need to stop putting legendaries in there. But something's got to give, because this shit is falling apart. I love Pokemon though, and I always am going to love Pokemon. Pokemon was one of my first, it was my first tattoo. My first tattoo was a Pokeball that I got on my right arm, and I love it. It's still one of my favorite tattoos. I got a Gyarados on my right leg. I'm going to get Squirtle with a Squirtle Squad sunglasses on my chest at some point in the next year. My love for Pokemon is not going anywhere. I just believe that they can do more, but there are fundamental issues with like how these things are being made, like how these things are being talked about and brought up. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think. Feel free to hit the comments. We can have that dialogue. We'd have that discourse. If you check my other videos, I'll be talking. I'll be in there talking to y'all. I'm still on house arrest. I ain't going nowhere. Right? I'm still in this motherfucker. I ain't got nothing to do but like engage with my fans and like read and play games and learn about myself. And I'd like to share that journey with you. So if you want to talk to me about this, or if you have ideas for other videos, if you like my opinions, or if you don't like my opinions, but you want to hear about what I have to say, hit the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking. I'm still learning how to do this. I'm still learning how to YouTube. So bear with me. But I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy for the people who are here. So keep coming back, and we can talk about it. Just comment, like, subscribe, send it to people. Let's start that conversation. I think we either need to get rid of legendaries or we need to change how they work. Something. I don't know. We got to figure something out. But, yeah. Okay, bye. No, leave. Go. Go. Get out of my... Go. 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 Get out. There you go. There you go. Bye.